I knew that the video on colorism and classism would have sparked a conversation. What I did not expect is the amount of real life stories that person started to share with me, from the job market to relationship, and from school to even how we treat each other. This goes to show that colorism and classism is still a real issue within our Jamaican society. The sad thing is that a lot of persons don't believe that this is a conversation we should be having, or it is full time. We move on with our life and forget about racism or forget about colorism and classism as if it doesn't exist and as if it is not affecting people within our society. So today we are going to do a part 2, and we are going to focus on the struggles and the impact it has on people's life. Hey guys, welcome to Cadence Talk Show. If you're new, I want you to stop what you're doing, hit that subscribe button, turn on your post notification bell so that when we post our next video, you'll be the first to know about it. All my returning subscribers, welcome back. You know, the first thing I want to ask, when did skin tone and class determine opportunity? Many people have messaged me stating that they are qualified, they have experience, they have put in the effort, yet still they have been turned down for the job. Why? Because they don't fit the image or they're from the wrong address. Which led me to ask the question, fit image for whom? I've also received stories about companies prefer to employ lighter skinned employees, especially for customer service and front desk position. And if you don't speak properly, or if your address is not considered to be uptown, then you would not even get the chance to get an interview. Now I want to ask you the question. Have you ever faced this type of discrimination? I want you to place your answer within the chat. And whilst you're commenting your answer, I'm going to play a few videos because we have asked some persons what are their views as it relates to racism and colorism within our Jamaican society.
We do live in a culture or in a country where the color of our skin helps us to win. I've experienced it time and time again. I've witnessed it on numerous occasions. Persons, especially in certain job areas, have an advantages over those who are of darker complexion. There are some organizations, especially those that require some persons to be on the front line or the front page. They really consider the color of our skin. Mark you, in Jamaica, we are deemed to be dark-skinned people, but there are some persons who still have the preference for those with a lighter skin tone, and we noticed that in order to feel a little bit accepted, a lot of persons, and we're not mentioning or referring to those who would suffer from lack of self-esteem and stuff like that, but there are a lot of persons who resort to the bleaching of their skin and stuff like that. It was a famous songwriter, Itana, who had sung a song about wrong address. So the song in a nutshell spoke to somebody who was seeking employment, and because of the address that she resided in, she really did not stand a chance. The song says, we don't want no trouble. We don't want no trouble no day. Lady, where you come from, people die there every day. And so whilst we have been privy to see a lot of persons rise up from a place that persons would deem to be a hazard to society, or a place where people would, classify persons who come from that area as gunmen or not amounting to any good thing, we know that in a lot of organizations, they will not hire persons because of where they come from.
If two persons would enter a store, the fairer skinned person would usually get the attention first, of the persons in the store. You know, unless you go in there and you're fully dressed up, you're made up, and you're buzzed. I mean, you're going there with all the jewelry and all the accessories. Persons might respond to you before they respond to anybody else. But yes, we do have that propensity, that proclivity to address lighter color persons before we address persons of the same hue like ourselves. And I think it's about time it stopped. I think customer service would have improved significantly, even more so now, but it did not. It has not done so. And so we need to make a conscious effort to debug, decolonize what we do. Yes?
Okay.
And how we do it. So yes, colorism is still very much alive. And if you go for the interview too, you will see that. Yeah, but nevertheless, it is not as prevalent as it was, and that's a good starting point. But we want it to be more than a starting point. We need to fix that problem.
Thank you so much, sir.
No problem.
Who would have thought that colorism do exist in relationship? I've heard stories from males who stated that they prefer to date brown-skinned girls because they seemed more attractive. And then you have those females who bleach their skin just to get the attention. And then guess what? You have those persons who just want to be loved for who they are and not for their skin tone. Love is not supposed to have a color code, yet still colorism still influences who people choose to date. I am now going to insert another video clipping of someone sharing their personal experience as it relates to colorism and classism within our Jamaican society.
I understand colorism right. I would think it is discrimination of color. Right, so there's one experience that I had that I will never forget, and it was from one of my native Jamaican whose culture is of the Rastafari faith, and I was on a bus going about my business one morning when a Rasta man was on the bus. You know, in Jamaica, he said, "I go on it himself." Yeah, and him, you look at him, me look at him, and him say, "All you're white woman, no look for me. Cause you do this and you do that and whatever. But me never pay me any mind. But I just wonder to myself, say, oh, you can look at me and call me white. Look. Oh, you can look at me and call me white. Right? So I've never forgotten that experience. So that was my experience of colorism in Jamaica.
Okay. And how did that experience made you feel?
I felt bad, and I felt disappointed to know that just because I'm a little bit light skinned, somebody that call me a white woman. Even though I say I come from white ancestral background on one side, which is my father's side, but I mean the black blood stronger in me.
Yeah.
So,
understood.
Yeah.
And do you think Jamaicans treat people differently based on how they look or where they're from?
Yes. If you seem to be a little bit affluent, like you have little money, or you look a little bit better dressed, or you come from above crossroads, yeah, you are treated better. Yes, and sometimes people misunderstand your circumstance. Then think that because of your color, you shouldn't live here or you shouldn't live there, or you should be better able to achieve this or that. And it's not the reality.
Right.
You can nobody not buy them color or choose them jeans. You never can tell what a child is going to look like, because the two parents can be black and them have ancestral genes and them come out white. And that's how sometimes you hear about jacket come from uptown so you have money, or you're brown so you have money. I live downtown, I go market, and them tell me, say, buy it man, because when you go uptown you go pay more feet.
True.
And I ready that they get to me live, Yeah, so people misunderstand the judge based on your looks. Yeah.
Next, we are going to talk about education. So a woman messaged me to say that she sent her son to school and she was heartbroken by how children of affluent areas were treated differently from those who are from less privileged background. And then we say classism doesn't exist within our education system or within our Jamaican society. Have you ever noticed how some schools have prestigious status and how they tend to fill with a particular type of students? The reality is Jamaica top schools often require money or connections. But what happened to those students who are talented and bright, but they weren't born into wealth? You know the sad reality? Classism exists within our school communities. I've spoken to students who stated that they feel as though teachers treat them differently because of where they come from. When compared to those from affluent households or communities, they don't get the same level of support, they don't get the same level of chances as those students would have received. So I have to ask, how do we expect the next generation to rise when from an early age they are being told to know their price? Colorism and classism is a deep issue. The constant reminder that you are not good enough simply because of your skin tone or where you're from can have a lasting effect on a person's mind. I've heard countless stories and I've known people who have actually had to change their address because of fear of rejection because of where they're from. I've also received messages from people stating that they grew up hating their skin because of the constant reminder that they were black and ugly or them black and fever pop bottom. They believe that they had to work twice as hard just to earn respect. Some, they develop self-hate, and that's how bleaching came in for most of them because they only wanted to be accepted. How do we change this mindset? We're basically doing that by having this conversation. If we pretend it doesn't exist, then nothing will change. We have to talk about it, call it out, and make people aware. Secondly, we need to encourage equal opportunities within our school, within our workplace, within our communities, within our relationship. We need to start treating people for who they are and not where they're from or the color of their skin. And thirdly, we need to check our own biases. Sometimes we contribute to the problem without even realizing that we are part of the cause. So we need to be aware of what some of our biases are. Me really believe that Jamaica can change, but the change of a start with we. So make a reason. Make us start treat people with respect, regardless of where they're from or the color of their skin. Big up on yourself, enough respect.